All right, so I totally jacked up the the first video for the how to create the legends. It was brought to my attention by Will Breedlove, one of my most longtime subscribers and members of Franchise Nation, that I left off the face sculpting aspects of the how to. So only thing I really gave you guys was the ratings, and that kind of defeats the purpose now, doesn't it? So I had to cut this quick video. I'm trying to make it as quick as possible, just to show you Barkley, Gilbert Arenas, and Wes Unseld, the missing screens. So I'm gonna try to make it seem like it's a little bit more whatever than it's supposed to be. But the play for a winner here, this part actually was supposed to be filled in, and so I'm adding it in now, so you guys will see, and it'll be a part of the the final roster save for sure. So there's that. I didn't do anything in regards to the injury types or whatever. I wanted you guys I didn't want to, I don't know what you guys want to do with your roster, so I don't want to do too much on that end, and you end up having to change a whole bunch. So we're gonna let that kind of stick with where it's supposed to be, or leave that where it is. So I hope you guys saw the skin tone there for Barkley was 3, so we'll be able to see that. But here are the sculpting screens, which are obviously very important. Go all the way up to the top of the head. And there we go with Chuck. Now I'm not going to talk through these most times. I'm just going to go ahead and slide through them. But because I made a oopsie daisy, I felt the need to stay with you guys a little bit on this. And what pretty much I know is going to happen is people are going to, have to pause the game as they recreate this. And just to reiterate, Mr. 502 is handling the roster on Xbox One. So he's basically taking what I'm doing here, and he is, doing his own thing on Xbox One. So that's the roster that I am endorsing for Xbox One, because it's going to be pretty much exactly the same as mine. So I'm getting him these screens and all of that sort of thing so that he can get moving on it. Hair is pretty self-explanatory for Barkley, because with the Suns, for the most part, he didn't have any. A couple pictures I saw, he did have a little bit of a shadow there, but we went with the no hair. I'm gonna show you something. I almost went with those eyebrows for Chuck, but I decided against it because he really didn't have a unibrow. So, but his eyebrows are so thick it almost looks like he got one. But I didn't go with that. One thing I hate though is that I hate that 2K got a whole bunch of different body types for the players that they created. But when you create somebody, you can't. Everybody's body looks the same, pretty much. So no matter how much you make them weigh, whatever, their body types look the same. So that's unfortunate. Can't remember if the shoes or gear is in the. I believe it is. I know all of this is in there, so I don't need to show you guys that. All right, let's take a look at this Arenas. This Arenas was just okay in my opinion, to be honest. I really wish it was better, but I spent a lot of time trying to get Arenas right, and I did the best I could do. Went back a couple times, but I couldn't get it exactly how I wanted it. But this was the best that it came out. This is irrelevant actually, so let's look at the face sculpting. Arenas actually has a odd look though, because on one hand his face is skinny, on another hand it's like it's so when you make his face skinny like it actually is, then the rest of his head, like his front part of his face is fat. I mean skinny, but then the back part of his back. So that's why I ended up just bringing it back to where it was. So just to show you guys that a little bit. All right, here was the profile we used. I even actually had a profile picture of Arenas to try to, you know, get it exactly the way it was. But sometimes some guys are just tough. Like, I'm dreading getting back to Glenn Rice this year, because Glenn Rice was probably the hardest to do of everybody last year. So, and I still wasn't happy with the way it came out. I was more happy with the Glenn Rice, with the Gilbert Arenas this year, than I was with the Glenn Rice I had last year. So hopefully there are some very slight, subtle differences to the creation tool this year, but I don't know if it's enough. Let's see. Righty, and that's it. Everything pretty much else, I believe, is there. And like I said, the shoes and gear, I believe, is already there. Well, I think we showed this, but I'm going to show the shoes and gear again just in case, because I can't really remember if I showed that. Last up, we got West Unseld, which obviously they do not have the afro that Unseld had, because the afros they have now are more the newer style afros, not the ones that they wore back in the 60s and the 70s. But we did the best we could for one of the all-time great members of the Washington Wizard organization. All right, now let's look at the sculpting. All right. I didn't bother to put up the real life picture next to the guy as I did in the first video, but moving forward, that is what you'll see in all of them, because the videos won't be two parts moving forward. We'll do it right the first time. All right, feature time. The hair, blowout afro. The facial hair, eyebrow 6. It's a little bit of sideburns jump off there. And we got 6'7", 245. Look a little bit bigger than that in the pictures, but we went by basketballreference.com, and what they said is what we took. And he doesn't have any upper body accessories. He has a lower body accessory though, which is just the left knee brace. And it's obviously white. So that's that. My bad on that first video, but we're gonna get this right moving forward. It's a slightly new process, so y'all roll with me for a minute. But I appreciate you watching. God bless.